Let's watch some crazy stuff, yo.
I'm sorry. There's so many channels out there that they're fucking idiots. I'm sorry. They're
Jeez, Rick. Oh my God.
Oh, hey, jumping up. I got Brad's car.
Hey, wait a minute, Rick. I thought this was a commercial. What's going on? I mean,
relax, Morty. It's really rare to see this level of ignorance. I want to see where this goes.
Fucking morons.
Oh my God, it's like he can't hear himself.
Blah, blah, blah. I don't care.
Who mans is this? Get him the fuck out of here.
Yo, this is just Toy Politics. You know, if you want to see a review, go check one out. I just posted one up and I'll be posting up another one soon. If you don't want to see Toy Politics or nothing like that, don't watch this video. I'm going to say it straight off the bat. If you do want to see some Toy Politics, then stay tuned, because I just want to take some time to speak on this podcast and this video that was released. And in this video, we mainly have this one weird guy, like just straight up weird to me, at least. But I feel like a lot of his actions and a lot of his outbursts can represent something bigger and be segue into a bigger example, a bigger talking point, a bigger topic regarding only saying positive things or only making positive videos or only having a positive review, and don't share it if it's negative. I do feel like his actions represent that as well. So I'm just going to use his actions as an example to segue into that bigger topic, which I feel like, you know, needs to be spoke on. Not to mention the guy actually said my name in the video, so he deserves the attention he's getting. And honestly, I also did have some words for the host of the channel. So the two big things I was going to focus on regarding this podcast, one of them is this crazy guy, and then the second thing was going to be the host of the podcast and his actions during the show, or I should say his non-actions during the show. But two things: he made an apology video and he took full accountability for everything that happened. And another big reason why I'm not going to share my thoughts regarding the host of the show is that Laserpants asked me himself to not share my thoughts regarding the actual host of the show, and I respect Ryan so much. So of course, without a doubt, no questions asked, I'm not even going to share my thoughts on that. But I do appreciate the host taking accountability and sharing some of his thoughts, and you know, him apologizing regarding the show afterwards. And real quick, I will say that it is up in the air right now whether or not they're going to continue to post on this channel or they're just going to abandon it. I will say, at least speaking for myself, I don't think the channel should be abandoned. Nobody wanted that. Nobody that I know wanted that. I know I definitely didn't want that, especially based off of the actions of just mainly one idiot guy. Nobody wanted the channel to be abandoned. It just would have been nice for the situation to be handled better at the time. But I definitely don't think the outburst of mainly one person should ruin it for everybody that enjoyed watching that channel and participating on that channel. So all that's really left for me to address is some comments that Trevor, which is 16Shooter, made, and this really emotional guy that was on a podcast just addressing his behavior and a lot of what I feel like is BS stuff that he said and did throughout the podcast. Usually I link the original video in my description below. I'm not doing that here because I'm not sure of the status of the actual podcast moving forward, and I honestly don't want to bring anybody more heat other than this Rush guy. I could care less about him. I don't care about whatever heat he gets. So I'm going to be blurring other people out. I'm not here to focus on how people look or their appearance for the most part. I'm here more to focus on their logic, and that's what I want to break down. Anyways, I got some messages regarding this video, and you know, people saying like, hey, 16Shooter is talking shit about you, and this other Rush guy is talking shit about you. And there is someone on this podcast that I do have respect for, which is Disavowed, and I feel like honestly he was the only one that tried to do damage control during the situation, or tried to, you know, mitigate some of the things that was being said and try to change the subject or give any type of pushback or just be neutral, try to make it more peaceful or keep the peace. He was the only one, and he wasn't the host of the show. So I definitely do appreciate him trying to do that when that's a job he didn't have to do. 16Shooter is a toy photographer in the toy community. I think he's an amazing toy and product photographer. I have no issue with him at all, and I do understand watching the podcast how a lot of people was like, oh, he's automatically talking shit about Ninja, because I did make some HasLab videos regarding why I felt like the car was not worth it, and I can easily fall under the umbrella of people that he was talking about.
We're using it for good, at least we are. But you know, there are people who are just gonna, you know, there's a lot of people who made their name on that HasLab, that Engine of Vengeance, and made a channel, basically, got tens of thousands of subscribers because it was just video after video of this is bullshit and Hasbro sucks, and it gets a little tired. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's why it's like.
See, I get why people are automatically like, hey, he's definitely talking about you, Ninja, and okay, it's a possibility, sure it is, but I find it hard to have an issue with somebody who doesn't have an issue with you, first of all. And like I said, I have no issue with him. And there was tons of people, man, guys, there were tons of people that made videos during that time, and way more than 4. Like, realistically, other than my do-it-yourself video, I made 4 videos, man, and within those 4 videos, I spaced them out with other stuff in between, regular reviews, regular content in between. So like I said, I always say, if the shoe fits, wear that shit, run down the block with it on. I just don't feel like it does to me. I'm really not worried about it. And there was other creators that made 10, 15, 20 plus videos regarding the matter, and I just wasn't one of them. So like I said, I get why I'm getting messages, and I get why people are saying he is talking about me, but personally, I don't think the shoe fits, so I'm not running down the block with the shoes on. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I feel like the real issue throughout this entire podcast of this show was this other guy.
What everyone else is saying, it's like, I'm sorry, there's so many channels out there that they're fucking idiots. I'm sorry, they're fucking idiots, and they want to spout intelligence when they have none.
So just right off of that, I already knew what time it was. I'm like, oh my God, we have one of these guys. Like, I was like, oh God, here we go. The guy, you know the type that says, hey, don't spout hate towards a product that I love, or a company that I love, or maybe someone else that I love, but it's okay if I spout it. It's okay if I name call. Hey, don't curse at other people, but it's okay if I curse at you. And it's one of those. Because what he doesn't realize is the same thing that he has an issue with, he projects as well during this podcast. Literally, he becomes what he claims to not like during this podcast. He accuses other people of being uneducated, and he seems really belligerent and uneducated throughout this podcast with the way he represented himself.
And I'm sorry, if you believe most shit that people say, it's like there's so many people that are feeding off of hate.
Not me though. I wasn't really emotional in my videos. I was feeding off of logic. I had multiple examples. I tried to bring as much evidence as I could to the table as possible, and I was just disappointed. I was disappointed as a fan. I wasn't, a bitter person that hates Hasbro. No, I was genuinely just a disappointed fan. That's where I was coming from.
Because it's easier to spout bullshit to actually back up your claims. Because so many people will talk shit, and when someone actually comes back with logical information to actually offset that, these dumbasses on these other channels only come back with, oh, you're just a shill.
This guy's obviously upset, and this isn't even the height of it. I'm telling you, stay tuned. This isn't even the height of it, but clearly he's upset, and I just, I guess the word shill is triggering to him. I guess it is, but once again, it's one of those scenarios. If the shoe fits, wear that shit and run down the block. That's the way life goes, especially if you're being judged based around your actions. It is what it is. But I'm not even sure if he understands the proper definition to the word shill.
Fucking morons. And yes, sorry, I'm going off on this shit. It's like their responses with, oh, they blocked me. They're off crying because I got to them. So no, we're not. We just don't have the, patience to deal with your bullshit.
It's not like he started talking for long, and I already feel like I don't have the patience to deal with his bullshit.
Straightforward. Tim may not want to call people out. I will. The fucking Bratz car bullshit.
And right here it starts. I'm like, damn, what did me or some other content creators do to get this weird guy so mad?
What did he do to make
Collector's Rush
that mad?
Oh, hey, jumping up, I got a Bratz car. It has AM, FM radio that I'll probably never use. This will be cool for like 5 minutes until it blows over. Then it's going to sit in the corner and not make sense. But I'm going to talk about sales are up on shit. It's like, if you want to get the Bratz car, all to you. Guess what? There's not a single fucking Marvel character that drives a Bratz car or anything similar to it. So I don't want it in my collection.
Yo. Why are you so angry, my guy? Like, are you upset because you didn't get your car with flickering lights? Are you triggered over the word chill? Like, what the f are you so angry about? And like, you've been carrying all this anger for months regarding this HasLab? Why are you so angry? Bro, enjoy all them thousands or hundreds of figures that you have behind you. What do you have so much animosity for, bro? It's not that deep. It's not. And what's funny to me is he's so quick to call other people assholes and uneducated idiots and all these things, but The Bratz car was never supposed to be an equalizer. The Bratz car was used as nothing but a comparison. Do you know what a comparison is? Because if you did, I don't think you would be that upset over a comparison or a possible alternative option. That's all it was used as. That's it. Nobody ever said the Bratz car is in the Marvel Legends universe. It was used as a comparison to show, hey, look, other companies can give us equal or better, depending on your opinion, for less. That's all it was used as, that comparison. And if you liked it enough to buy it, if you did just want to know some alternative vehicles, hey, it's right there for you to grab. That's all. Honestly, it's not that serious. Don't catch an aneurysm over it, okay? Just relax. And it wasn't me who introduced that Bratz car. I used it as an example, but it wasn't even in my first 2 videos or something like that. I used it after it was brought to the forefront by the 3POA podcast. So everybody on that podcast knew exactly who he was talking about and exactly who he was coming at, me included. And he listed out the names of all the people. And that's why I don't feel bad for him. Because you said you didn't care. You said you wanted to say names. Okay, be a man, stand on it, deal with it now.
I'm never going to watch any of these, arts or ninjas or POS shows. I don't care.
You sure, man? Because honestly, it does seem like you care. Like if I had a girl speaking to me like that about how she doesn't care about me, I'm gonna think she cares. Don't nobody get that upset over some shit they actually don't care about, my guy.
Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It's like if you have to make videos hating on something to try and convince people, it's like everyone's like, oh, you're trying to convince people to buy this. No. What am I doing? Am I going into their bank account, pulling up their credit card number, playing? No, I'm just saying this is why we like it.
Bingo. And that's the issue right there. At least for me it is. That's the issue right there. Why is it okay for you to explain why you like it, post about why you like it, share your views on why you like it, but it's not okay for someone else to explain why they don't like it, post about why they don't like it, share their views on why they don't like it? And that seems like a concept that was going over a majority of people's heads on this podcast for over 2 hours. Besides Disavowed. Disavowed was the only one that said, guys, it works both ways. The same way I enjoy when people make a video talking positively about something, I also have to acknowledge or enjoy or accept the fact that someone can make a video being negative about something that they're not happy about, being negative about a product. And on this podcast, the overall theme that multiple people on this podcast actually brought up was, hey, yeah, just if you feel some type of way about it, if it's not for you, just leave it alone. Just don't say nothing. Or if you do say something, say it nicely. It's like besides Disavowed, they're all like, hey, don't put it in the title that you don't like it. Don't trash it in the title. Why not? If that's the subject to the video is me not liking a product, why can't I put it in the title? Because nobody bats an eye when someone puts in the title how amazing something is. When there is a project, campaign, HasLab, whatever, crowdfunding, anything that people actually think is worth it, people make multiple videos about how excited they are and why they think it's worth it. But if someone makes multiple videos, why to them it's not worth it? If I do that or other content creators do that, it's automatically like, oh, they're being negative. No, we're criticizing. We're just giving criticism to something, a behavior, a product, or something that we don't like what I'm doing right now for you, Collectors Rush. This is just criticism to what I feel like was shitty ass behavior on that podcast from someone that supposedly doesn't care. You just look mad emotional, bro. A lot of people are just so sensitive nowadays that they take any form of criticism as negative, toxic behavior. And that's sad. That's sad. But that was at least what I got overall from this podcast for over 2 hours. Is everybody basically in agreement besides Disavowed? If you're gonna make a video about something, your 3 options are: 1, say positive things; 2, say nothing; or 3, criticize only in an acceptable way. Don't put it in the title. Don't go on too long about it. Don't be too negative. Don't seem too unhappy. Don't make multiple videos. Just so many golden rules and standards that I just find hilarious. I find it hilarious. And we live in such a sensitive cupcake society that's like, men, these are grown men. They can't handle criticism, not even to themselves, but to a product, to a toy. Overall, the vibes that I got personally from watching this podcast was very similar to this. You guys remember this? Especially from Collecting Rush, this seemed like the logic. Hasbro is bugging. This car is not worth that fucking price. They crazy.
Then don't back it.
Facts. This shit is not for me. Here's some evidence why.
Then don't back
Whoa.
it. Don't speak on
Whoa.
it. Don't say nothing negative about it. You're ruining
That's
my
not-
chances
That's not
to
what
get my toy. Don't back
not
it.
what
If
I'm
you don't have
saying,
nothing
though, like-
nice to say, then don't say nothing at all.
Relax.
Don't say nothing at all.
Relax. I hear what
You
you're
just
saying.
want to throw around the word chill.
I feel
Don't say
you.
nothing at all then.
Relax, though.
Either be positive or just be quiet.
Relax.
There's no in between. Be positive or just
relax,
be
though.
quiet.
I'm just. Yeah, that was definitely the vibes that I got watching this. It especially, mostly from this Rush guy. He was that guy. He was that backer. And the same way I can't put a measure on someone else's happiness, I also can't measure someone else's unhappiness. Because Ghost Rider's in my top 3 Marvel characters of all time. So I was pretty unhappy when I seen what I considered to be a pretty shitty offering at a shitty price. I was pretty unhappy about that. But it's like, hey Ninja, don't be too unhappy. Don't do that. Don't do that, because then don't criticize too much, because then you're just being negative.
No, I'm just saying this is why we like it.
And me and other people were just saying this is why we don't like it. Do you see that collecting rush? I think it's pretty simple math. I think it's a pretty simple, revolving door for you to be able to realize, hey, there's 2 sides to this coin, and it should be okay. Because it doesn't bother me when people make multiple videos about not liking something that I like. That's okay. They just probably really don't like it. That's okay. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not gonna watch it. And I'm definitely not gonna start screaming about it months later on a podcast saying that I don't care, when clearly I do. Do you see collecting rush, the hypocrisy here that Disavowed was trying to shine a light on? Hey guys, it goes both ways. The same way someone can't tell you don't be too happy, you can't tell someone else don't be too unhappy. It's just common fucking sense, bro. So those are the 3 options if you're gonna go by the logic of the majority of this podcast.
Hate on everything to talk people out of this. Like, I'm sorry, Sharmis, how he came on was like, I've decided to back out of doing the Engines of Vengeance. Why?
Why not? See, that's the issue, bro. I don't understand what you don't understand. It's pretty simple math. You want to spend so much time calling everyone else uneducated when you look like the most uneducated one in the room, buddy. But it's like you can't grasp this simple concept. You're so focused on, well, why are you making a video like that? Why? And it's not that I'm defending Shartimus. It's not that I'm defending him, but I will defend his right to free speech, or his right to talk about why he's not backing it. You know why? Because Collector's Rush, are you so emotional about everybody that made a video talking about why they're backing it? If you're not as upset about everybody that made a video talking about why they're backing it, then just shut the fuck up about the people that made a video talking about why they're not. Do you get it?
Why?
Because they can.
Why?
Because they want to.
Why?
Because if you can make videos talking about why you love it, they can make videos talking about why they don't.
I'm not making it say, oh, instead of buying this, buy this. If you're doing that, I'm sorry, you don't have the creativity or the fucking intelligence to make good videos on your own, that all you have to do is just hate shit, because it's so easy for you to spout hate without backing any of it up.
I never said, hey, don't buy this thing instead. I never said that. And I'm speaking for myself, since you wanted to say my name. I was just giving people alternative options. And a lot of other channels, including the 3POA, were just giving other people alternative options. That's all, if they wanted them.
Again, that's just common sense. But so far, common sense is just lacking.
You can't make this shit up. You literally cannot make this shit up. This is wild, guys. Wild.
More power. I'm all about positivity. I will follow Dan Hu because he's honest and sincere.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yo, like, I don't have no hard feelings towards Dan Hu. I don't watch his content like that, so I don't know much about him. But you just said you're all about positivity. This guy that represented himself this way for how long during this podcast is all about positivity from some shit over months ago? Okay. And then to show how uneducated he actually is, the entire show he's so triggered off of the word chill, and he uses it wrong in almost every instance that he uses it. By definition, I have no idea what word he's using, because by definition, on one side we have a shill, a person, a plant, a stooge as a person who publicly helps or gives credibility to a person or organization without discrediting that they have a close relationship with said person or organization. Or the other side is an accomplice, a hawker, a gambler, or swindler who acts as an enthusiastic customer to entice or encourage others.
Yeah, anyone that buys the authentic jerseys from like the NFL shop, are they a shill because they're paying the higher price when there's something cheaper that's similar to it? No, it's like that's all that matters. Are we a shill? Yes, all of us are shill. You're making a fucking YouTube about collecting toys. We're all shills for one thing or another.
So we all are acting enthusiastic about the things that we collect? What, bro, and this is what I'm talking about. And this is the person that's screaming about uneducated people. By definition, you've been using it wrong for over 2.5 hours. If for whatever reason that actually makes sense to you, or you actually believe that you're using it wrong, or you're saying all these people are being fake, or they have a close relationship to the company, or they're intentionally being deceitful for their own gain. What are you talking about, bro?
Let any of these hater channels come at me. I don't care. Bring it. It's like, oh God, you're going to hurt me, or oh hey, I'm just going to have common sense and not talk to you, and you're going to say, oh, he's just crying, or he can't. I don't care.
One, I don't want to hurt you. I don't think anybody wants to hurt you. I just think some of the shit you say is ridiculous. Two, I don't think you're off anywhere crying, because clearly you don't care. You made sure you said you don't care about 57 times during this podcast. You don't care. But I think you do care. Obviously you do care. That's why you got so emotional during the podcast. And I don't think there's anything wrong with caring. Caring is a good thing. We should care about our self-awareness. We should care about our words, how they impact people, and how we're perceived to others through our actions. You should care about these things. And I think that you should definitely care about how you represented yourself on this podcast. But that's right, you don't care, right? You're so unfazed, you're so unbothered. You don't even care about being accountable as a man and making sure other people that I'm assuming you're cool with don't take the heat for you, right? You don't even care about that, because you have the owner of the podcast, taking accountability and responsibility, as he should, for a lot of the dumb shit that you said throughout this podcast. You claim that you care about others more than you care about yourself. Well, then help them. You know what I'm saying? Like, step up. Do something. Take accountability for something. You're sitting here using words in the wrong terms, wrong definitions. You're calling multiple, not just me, multiple channels out by name. You're talking shit about channels that have affiliates on the same show that you're with. This is just straight child bitch-like behavior to me, honestly, if you ask me. This is straight no accountability, no consequences. I don't care. You just sound like a little boy throwing a temper tantrum, being super emotional. Get your shit together, bro. Please. Like, you're messing it up, not just for yourself, but for tons of other people. And then you lack the self-awareness during the show to see how quiet or uncomfortable everybody became once you started with your name calling and tangents. You can't read the room at all. Clearly, you can't. But hey guys, remember, the takeaway here is, if you're gonna make a video about any products or anything, say positive things only, or say nothing, or criticize, but only in an acceptable way. Otherwise, your criticism will just be viewed as negativity. There's no way to criticize, just try to find a way to do it nicely. You know what I'm saying? Criticize super nicely. Otherwise, you will automatically be thrown in the pit as the mean bad guy, and you're being toxic, negative, or whatever. Just it is what it is. In closing, on the actual video where the host took accountability for the way that things went left on the show and how outrageous this guy got, someone left this comment, and I thought it was so well worded. I'm not going to try to word things better. I'm just going to give credit where credit is due. And this was from Omega579. They said the hypocritical thing about the last live stream is that a couple of guys were running down other YouTubers for being negative while doing the very thing they were complaining about. They were complaining about negative YouTubers, but misconstrued being critical as being negative. They named names, implied names, and cried about not making things personal, but they did make it personal. They were mad about other YouTubers throwing around the term shill, but they talk about how it's impossible to go against the Hasbro machine, so criticizing being negative is useless. That was perfect, man. This guy summed up 2.5 hours in a few sentences. So shout out to Omega for wording that very well. So if you're part of the YouTubers that's just like, hey, say nothing, do nothing if it's not positive, or, stay quiet, then just stay quiet over there. That's not really what I do on my channel. And me and every other YouTuber that this Rush guy took a shot at, we all went from buying 10 Legends if we were to now buying two or three, if that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're not just talking, we're passing on HasLabs, we're doing certain things, and we're pulling back and we're retracting, and we're trying to talk with our dollar more than we ever have before. So it's not just talk. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, we stopped buying every single Legends and we'll never buy another one. No, but we have extremely pulled back compared to what we used to buy. Extremely. And in the case that the line does end, because, you know, I would want more people to pull back, and either they increase their quality or the line ends. And I'm okay with it ending too, because then the license is just going to go somewhere else and we'll see what happens there. But I'm well aware that that's a possibility, because that was brought up on the show too, which is, well, then the company's just not going to give you nothing, and that's okay. I'd rather get nothing than get shit on. I can't even criticize Hasbro or any type of products, because then people just move the goalpost, they redirect, they deflect. Literally, if I sit here and I'm like, well, you know, the business practices at Hasbro are really bad, they'll sit there and bring up the business practices at UPS. You fucking genius. We're in a toy group, or this is a toy channel, we're talking about toys. Why are you bringing up the business practices at UPS? You know how dumb you looked? Imagine me being at a car lot or a car meet or a car show, and they're talking about, you know, the business practices at Honda, and then for some strange reason, I go, yeah, but it's not a big deal, man. The business practices at UPS are crazy too. Why don't you go do something about that? So don't complain about Honda if you're not gonna complain about UPS. I'm at a car show, you idiot. Like, why am I bringing up UPS? Like, of course, the people there are passionate about cars. They're talking about cars. They would maybe want to do something or make a change in that realm, not in the realm of UPS. Like, it's common sense, bro. But this is how I see these other content creators and people deflect and redirect, and it just makes them look dumb. Like, you look foolish, bro. Yeah, or you get told, or they don't redirect and bring up cancer and all some other crazy stuff. They'll just say, hey, it's just business in general. But it's not, though. That's statistically, it's not, though. The layoffs that Hasbro does by the hundreds every few years, that's not statistically how majority of companies are ran statistically. It's not. So obviously you're misinformed about something. Now, I'm not saying most businesses or all business practices are good business practices. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, there's tons of shitty business practices. But now, does this mean that we should normalize it? Now, does it mean that we should stay quiet about it? That's the logic here. That's the logic with a lot of people, which is, hey, it's not a big deal what they're doing because UPS is doing it too. In a toy group, let me make that clear again. In a toy group, on a toy page, on a toy channel, I will get comments, or I'll see DMs, or I'll see threads, and literally people will be like, well, don't complain about Hasbro if you're not going to do something about Big Pharma. Don't complain about Hasbro if you're not going to do something about cancer. Don't complain about Hasbro if you're not going to do something about banking. You look fucking crazy, yo. Like, yo, the lack of self-awareness here is ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. You could tell a lot of these kidults and a lot of these supposedly grown men were picked last in gym class and still have a lot to learn about life. Period. Facts. It is what it is. But anyways, guys, let me know if you can see where I'm coming from as far as my perspective and how I'm viewing things. Just let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments below, because I actually do read them. I read them, I like them, I heart them, and some of them I definitely do reply to. But just let me know in the comments below what you think about this, whether you agree, disagree, or anything. There were a lot of topics in this video, and I didn't feel like making this, but I'm glad to talk about these things that a lot of other YouTubers won't talk about and won't be direct about. And not only did he say my name, he said the name of a bunch of other content creators that I'm actually cool with. So it is what it is.
Again, that's just common sense, but so far common sense is just lacking.
G.I. Joe, classified, Marvel Legends on my mind, Valaverse and NECA time, Mythic Legions I must find, SH Figure Arts I can't lie, Rebel Tech got my pockets dry, Set Action Figures for life, Articulated Ninja is nice, yeah, you might wanna subscribe, Action